All right, so today is the 20th of April, Thursday. So let's start off with gold, euro dollar, Dow Jones, Bitcoin. Now, this is gold. Now, remember, we had a look at this yesterday. We had these levels. Okay, they're PST levels, as you know, right? So from our PST indicator on the monthly and so on. So we suspected the market has potential to break out. And I said if the market comes down, there will be buyers. Why? Because we've got this on the PST. Okay, so I said this is tricky. All week I've been saying gold is a little tricky this week. Be careful. So keep your lots smaller than usual, right? So I've been giving you a heads up on that, and you can see why. Okay, now the market came down, sizzled down. This is yesterday. These are the Astro hours. So in the Astro hours, in the Asia session, it just took a dump down, came into the targets. You wouldn't have done anything really here because it's in the middle of nowhere. Down here, this was not an Astro hour. Yesterday, I did say, guys, there is something happening, but I'm not sure what to do with those aspects because there was a flow in the aspects yesterday on the 19th, right? Which actually, which was actually this period here. Okay, so when the market was like in the evening session here, I was just like a lot of aspects happening here, but I wasn't sure what to do with them. And it's a good thing I didn't know what to do with them because it was just like sideways tracking, as you can see. Okay, so not to worry about that. Today the Astro hours are here. If I tighten this up a little bit, this is where we're at. Now mark this level in yesterday because this is where the slump happened. Or you could say here is where it happened. Okay. And the reason I took that in there is because, well, the reason I have to take it in there is because of the good buy kiss, all right, and the weekly pivot. Now, we've been there before. Remember, I said you could sell here, no problem, okay? We said you could sell here, no problem. If you sold on those, you would have been fine, no problem, okay? And I said that, the swing day for gold this week is a bit tricky because it's all over the place, okay? So as you can see, any day could have been really happening to us. So what now? First of all, let's get this daily pivot sorted out. As you know, we like to trade off the pivots. So we've got the opening daily and the weekly there. All right, so what we want to do is we want to be selling from the tops as usual, as well. Now, market sold here, as you can see, they took the stops out. Selling around here, these Astro hours is not a bad idea as the market breaks down, closes below the swing. Okay, if I go back a little bit, you see it's gone below these levels here. Okay, and closed below there. So selling is not a bad option at all. If you're using the PST 8 on the 80 AM strategy, do it from the highs. You see, if you draw your timelines, then it becomes really easy because what you can do then is like this. Look, it'll draw your lines for you. So the market comes up into here, the resistance levels on the PSTs, and it corresponds to the hours. Then you could sell it off. You could do the same thing on your hourly as well because the hourly works really good, especially when following the trend. Okay, so if the market is like trending. Currently, we're in a sideways market because the market wants to decide what to do, as you can see. But like I said, in my opinion, this is an ending diagonal and we should have an ABC retracement down. Okay, that's how I think it should happen. And as you can see, the market sold on the HCL1 line, which is 2000, okay, on the PST indicator there, and the first support is 51, which is 1990. So we're stuck between 2000. Okay, so this is 2000, as you can see, is there. Okay, so that's 2000 there, and 1990 is your daily pivot, so I can now get rid of this. All right, so we're like stuck here, but selling from these levels is okay. You can see they've like cleaned out the stops here with this sweep. Okay, which is fine. It's also covered the gap here. Look, remember I talked about the gap yesterday. Okay, I said there's a gap here. They'll want to cover it. They've done a good job on it. Selling down is not a bad option. If in the US, if we're anywhere up here, up here, up here, you want to be selling on the astro hours. Okay, today is especially important. It's going to be important in the evening. Okay, in the evening, which is going to be this, where are we? In the 7 o'clock zone there. Around there, I guess that's the 7 o'clock. Okay, so this zone is going to be important as well. If we're up, we want to be selling down. Okay, let's take a look at the euro dollar. Right, so with the euro dollar, we said we got room down to 108.71 there, which is down there. So I said this will probably break down, and it should break down. I'm going to extend that here. I've put the astro hours as usual here. Now remember, look, this zone here, this is where the even highs are, so the stop losses are here. So if we have a breakout to push up, then to sell off is not a bad idea. Okay, I'm just going to refresh that so we get the pivot nice where it should be. And we can now get rid of this. Remember, this zone was a support. We marked this in the beginning of the week. So this zone is not a surprise for us. Okay, so if I do that, as you can see, that was a buy level for us. And as you know, it was a swing day on Monday for the euro dollar, and that is Monday swinging there. And this is yesterday, Wednesday, same location. Okay, and that zone we said you could sell. Okay, so this zone was a sell zone. If you sold yesterday there, it was also okay to sell. As you can see, this was a technical level, no astro hour here. Okay, the astro hours were a bit in the middle of nowhere, as you can see. It didn't really match here either. So, but the weekly pivot and the PST level, the purple zone, I matched in before. So if you sold technically, you should have also been okay. This zone is also, like I said, is a sell zone. Selling from the highs, I think, is okay. Once again, if you're using your 8 a.m. strategy, you can like sell from the highs at the astro hours. I am expecting like fast, sudden moves today as well, towards lunchtime. Okay, in the morning as well. So we could have like stop hunts, sudden moves in the market around like until 9:30. So from 8:30 onwards to 9:30, and then from 11:30 onwards until 12:30, and then we should stabilize. And once in New York, once you get the direction, it should flow through. Okay, so that's euro dollar as well. So selling at the tops here in this range is okay. If I take a look at the daily as well, that's a bit too far out, as you can see. So on the weekly, we should like, push down from these levels. At US 30, let's take a look. Now with this, I've been saying we need to sell from the highs as well. So as you can see here, it's a bit of a support zone, but what can I say, right? From the highs, I did say we need to sell. On this one, Wednesday, I said would be Dow Jones, Thursday and Wednesday. Okay, so Wednesday here, and Nasdaq was a Tuesday, so that was high. I did say on Tuesday, if we get up into this zone, we should sell. The market sold, and we're just following it through, as you can see. Okay, so that's Wednesday as well on the astro hour. Today's daily pivot is there. That's the price. The astro hours are a bit in the middle of nowhere, so technically there was nothing to do, only in the Asia session where the market collapsed down here, as you can see. And that's the weekly pivot. Once again, it's a technical level. Market picked up from there. So if the market comes up again, we might have a sudden move up. If it does, we'll be looking to sell as well from the tops. Okay, and the reason it might do that is because for Dow Jones, like I said, Wednesday and Thursday are the swing days. So that's Wednesday there. So if we head up again, there's a bit of a gap here that the market may take out, which is here. So if it does go up, or if it sticks around here as well, or does a bit of stop hunting, we can sell off as well. Okay, so just mark your levels in there. That level 72 is 34,195. Is a bit out there, as you can see. 34,195 is a bit out there. But I'm going to keep this in mind because that's where the gap is. So on this line, if we're at places where the market sold off, selling is not a bad idea. Okay. If the market breaks below the weekly and then pushes up, you can sell again at the Astro hours. It's not a problem because I'm expecting some sudden moves, so the market should kind of like dip. And if the market is at the tops, we definitely want to sell. If it breaks down on the retracement, you can also sell. Okay, so if it breaks below the weekly, let's say, and then in the New York session, let's say here it goes up, then you can sell it off. You also need to put a 330 here. 330. Right, if you've taken astrology from me, just make sure you check on whatever you're trading to correlate it to the radix, and then you'll get some good hours there as well, you'll see. Okay, let's take a look at SP 500, Nasdaq, and Bitcoin. Now remember, we've got the eclipse today, so we've got a new moon happening on the north node, and that's going to happen. It's actually happened already. It happened at 7:12. It's 7:26 my time at the moment. All right, so that's SP 500. This zone is a sell zone. Okay, so we want to be selling from these levels. 71, 4,172, 173. So 4,172, 3. So if it comes up into this zone, we want to be sellers. In any case, there was a gap here. Remember, I talked about here, the market filled it in. All right, so if you sold that off at the gap fill, you should have been all right. Ta-da. Okay, so no big surprises there. In the New York session, if we push up, you need to sell, and that's basically it. These, I can just get rid of these lines here. They're already done. Okay, and that's basically it. So on the SP 500 and Nasdaq, we're going to do the same thing. If there is a pull up, we want to sell it off in this zone here. Okay, so selling is the way we're going to go on this one. And the market should, I'm thinking until next year, we should be in a downwards, like side down kind of schedule. Okay, and that should be it. So want to sell it off, want to bring the market all the way into this zone, then later into lower zones. So today and this week, or Friday as well, what you can do if the market heads up, sell. Also next week we'll be looking to sell too on the retracements. Monday Asia session could do that. Nasdaq, same kind of thing, guys. You know, just selling at the tops there. 63.13,287, which we marked in already. It's a bit out there. This zone I marked in yesterday, as you can see, the market came in and sold off. So if you were, you know, on top of your game, you should have been okay with that. Like I said, this zone, let me just do this. Yesterday's Astro hours, we had 8:30, as you can see, and that's 8:30 there. Okay, and that's basically it. And then you had 10 o'clock. Okay, then you had 10 o'clock. That's your 10:15 there. We had 10:15, 10:30 yesterday. So you should have been on top of your game yesterday with Nasdaq. You would have been fine. These are Astro hours in there. All right. So if you sold off at these price levels, you should have been fine. And that's basically it. We can now get rid of this. This should be the zone. All right. So we want to be selling if the price goes up. You want to be selling. Price going up, you want to be selling at the Astro hours. Bitcoin, I talked about these levels, so the market's already come there. As you can see, this could be a runner. Okay, we've got a bit of a gap here, and there's liquidity. So the market pushing up to sell off, it's not a bad idea. Like I said, we should get into this zone, so I don't see any reason why it shouldn't get there. Okay, so if you guys sold off yesterday, you should have hit the targets in any case, so no big deal. All right. Obviously, we've got targets there. Like I said, we want to be heading off down to this zone here. So if you want to day trade it, wait till the gap closes, so you can sell basically at the daily or the weekly and push it down, and that's the way to go. Okay, with the Bitcoin.